Hello, I'm Nathan P. Butler, author of a Saga on home video and host from the Star Wars Home Video Library here on YouTube, and this is Star Wars Home Video Year by Year. This time we take a look at 2021. And in essence, the storm has passed at this point, so to speak. 2015 had been a little heavier, right? We had the complete Saga reissue, and we had the steelbooks and whatnot, so it was a pretty solid little year. They had the digital movie collection come out, and the figure packs to commemorate it and everything. But then 2016 to 2020 was crazy town. It was the era in which the first 5 Disney-era live-action films were hitting home video as their premieres. And it's an era with a lot of retailer exclusives, so tons and tons of releases as we looked at the releases of The Force Awakens, then Rogue One, then The Last Jedi, then Solo, then Rise of Skywalker, and along with it, the Skywalker Saga box set, and we had other TV series and stuff going like Rebels and then Resistance, some Lego stuff, and so on. It's been a crazy last few years. But after 2020, there are no new live-action Star Wars films to hit home video as their premieres for the foreseeable future. Star Wars content is primarily coming out through Disney+. And at least at this point in time, as the time that we're looking at here in 2021, there's been really no effort to put any of that new Disney Plus Star Wars content onto physical media quite yet. It would take a change of leadership and a change of philosophy at Disney to actually start pushing that stuff out, and even then only in small doses at a time. So here in 2021, the storm has passed, it's been crazy, but things will be very quiet here in the following year. For context, this was the year of stuff like the Book of Boba Fett, and the first series of Star Wars Visions, the first season of Bad Batch, the whole comic crossover War of the Bounty Hunters leading into Crimson Reign, and also the launch of a new multimedia publishing venture of the High Republic. And on a more personal note, after having released the first edition of a Saga on home video back in 2017 at about 300 pages with about 300 grayscale pictures in a single volume, 2021 is when I finally released a Saga on home video second edition as a 3-volume set in premium hardback with glossy full-color pages, regular paperback with full-color pages inside but not glossy pages, then a print replica version for Kindle which would allow you to do things like zoom in on those high-resolution pictures. That second edition across its 3 volumes would have about 1,000 pages, give or take, and about 1,500 pictures. And I haven't really talked about it too much in quite a while, so let me just note here for those who are looking for these or wondering what they're about. The first volume is going to basically cover the live-action films from 1977 up to 2015. The second volume covers basically what we've been looking at recently, which is the live-action films from 2016 onward through the time it was published in 2021. And then Volume 3 is effectively everything else. Behind-the-scenes stuff, oddball items, animated series, and so on. There's also a chapter on what was going on with Disney Plus up to that point, and tips for collectors in here. Releasing it in 2021, though, kind of made sense because it was almost like we were at an end point of Star Wars home video for a little bit, or certainly it felt like it. So what was actually released on home video in the US for Star Wars in 2021? Absolutely nothing. Nada, zip, zero, zilch. Nothing at all. The primary release that is of note in 2021 is from the UK, and is them getting a release that the US got and many other regions got in 2014, with them getting it 7 years late. Yes, this is when the UK finally gets the Clone Wars The Lost Missions. No slipcover or anything, just the 2 region-free discs on the inside, and then a DVD release on Region 2 DVDs, as you can see on here, as opposed to some of the Region 0 discs we saw in 2020 that were still PAL. These are not only PAL, but they are also listed as Region 2. We got our versions of these 7 years earlier. The UK finally gets them to finish out what is sort of the non-Disney Plus versions of the Clone Wars. But even as of the time that I'm recording this, in April of 2025, still no physical releases for the Clone Wars Season 7. So yeah, we got ours for these in 2014, 7 years earlier. The UK is finally getting them here in 2021. But that's effectively all there is to speak of here in 21. And this is kind of how these years going forward are going to look. We are, at least in this period, done with those crazy years of tons of releases, and we're down to just a trickle at best. sometimes not even hitting the United States at all. We'll also see a similar phenomenon with releases that happen in other regions but not in the US as we take a look at the next year. So join us next time as we take a look at 2022.